Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK radio network.
Hello, this is Nick Pope, and you're listening to the Paranormal UK radio network, the UK's biggest paranormal network. And this is Paranormal Dimensions with David Young.
Hello, welcome to the show. Thanks for that, Nick. Right, today's show is going to be with Paula Green. I think it's Paula Elisabeth Green, she likes to be known as. And helping me on the show is going to be the lovely Sacha Christie. Hello, Sacha.
Hi, David. Hi, everyone.
Nice of you to join us today. And because I invited you onto this show because you know Paula quite well.
Yeah.
I don't really know her as such, but I understand she's quite interesting. She's had an abduction scenario of her own. And I thought, well, with you two together, it should prove an interesting show.
We even had one together.
Oh, excellent. So you're about to tell us all about that.
We've had a few weird moments, actually, together. Every time we get together, something weird happens.
Oh,
Not
right.
always, like, extraterrestrial or anything like that. It's usually something paranormal, whispers and dark things and all sorts of stuff. We'll get into it, yeah. I met her in 2012. She came to me wanting to talk to somebody about her experiences. And she stood in my kitchen and I watched this woman reenact everything. Like, you know, when people are telling a story, they sort of stand there and they're kind of looking around, up in the air a lot, waggling a finger. Well, she was drawing everything in midair for me to be right where she was when these events happened to her. And she was so focused on getting me to see what she saw. And, she, all full body actions of where she stood, what she did, everything, reenactment. That is authentic.
Well, so she was very descriptive about it. That's good.
Very, very detailed and very, just any point. If I repeated anything and I got it a bit wrong, she was like, no, straight, boom, boom, boom. You can take it to any part in any bit of whatever's happened to her. If you get it slightly wrong, she'll be on it. Yeah. And it's not well rehearsed. She's accessing memories, and when you watch her talking about it, you can see her accessing these memories. It's very obvious what is going on. Right. And I was like, God blimey, governor. That is a hell of a lot to cope with, what she's been through, but, she's tough.
Well, she does remind me a little bit of you in some way. I mean, I don't know her that well, but she seems like a blonde version of you.
My old co-host, Guy Weddell, he's dead now. God bless him. He nicknamed us the Wonder Twins. Right. Because to him, he's from Utah, to him, we both had exactly the same voice and laugh. Yeah. And even Dave sometimes, when I'll say something, he comes in and he goes, God, you sounded like Paula then.
So I wasn't far off him, was I?
No, we are a lot alike, yeah.
Anyway, let's get her on. Hello, Paula. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
We got Sacha with us. We got your friend Sacha with us today.
One of my earphones on my right side has just gone funny, but go on. Sorry.
Well, as long as you can hear us, and
can you hear us?
We can hear you okay. So, as I say, we've got your partner in crime, Sacha, on the other end. The Terrible Twins, I think you're called, or something, is it?
The Wonder Twins, because we are so fabulous.
But anyway, how did you get to meet Sacha?
It was in 2012. I got to the point where I just couldn't take any more. I just thought I was going mad. Seeing little greys and, well, I won't say going mad seeing UFOs, because people who don't grey see UFOs, you know, so. Yeah, just all sorts of stuff, abductions and, you know.
Yeah. I mean, how did that come about then? Were you interested in it in the first place, or did it just start happening with you?
I was 4-year-old.
Right.
I started, yeah. Yeah.
So obviously you weren't invited. It just
No.
No, that's what I'm saying. So if you were 4 years, what's the earliest you can remember then of what happened?
Well, the first very thing was I were at nursery and a bird. This is about a bird. Whether it has any significance, but the telepathy comes into it. And we used to sit on what you call a mid-in top, where the old toilet used to be, in the back garden.
Yeah. So
I'd go to nursery mornings and then pick up at dinner time, stay home, rest at day. And, so I'd play out this was like in summer months, so, and then it'd be holidays and then go back to nursery again, and it was that sort of, and I'd just play on top of this I'd have to climb up the wall to get onto the mid-in top. And, I've noticed a bird, a blackbird, but it wasn't a blackbird. But I don't know, it might have been a blackbird. I just think the colour of it.
Yeah,
the colour.
I mean, because I do some...
We looked at a book and we found out that it was a female blackbird. They're not actually black, are they? They're like brown mottled.
Yeah, but as a 4-year-old,
But your mum saw it though, didn't she?
Yeah, and it started. I can't remember the very first time it came down, but it used to sit on the where I lived. We had a right opposite us were shops, which was the backs of the shops, and it used to sit on the roof, on the guttering bit, and it had come down, fly down, sit next to me. And it sounds absolutely ridiculous. I mean, even I look back, 38 years ago, and I think, well, no, 40, whatever, year ago.
That's all right, 38 will do, it's all right. That's not important.
God, how old she is.
Anyway, it used to come down, sit next to me. And it was normal to me. I'd never known anything different. So, it's not like I thought, oh, there's a bird there. Oh, you know what I mean? Why is it sat next to me? Oh, because I'm 4-year-old, I don't have that mental capacity to think anything more than that, So, it was just normal to me. And I'd sit there and telepathically, this is where the telepathy comes into it. And it would talk to me, not with its beak, obviously, through my mind, but it was in the centre, core, not through my ears, in the core. And, it would just say, it'd look at me, sit there looking at me, and it'd say to me, do you like your family? Do you like school? And I'd be answering telepathically back to it, And so it was normal. It was just it's like being bilingual, but the other language is telepathy. So, so I'd talk to it back. But sometimes I would talk verbally. And it was then when I did speak verbally that, my mum would say, oh, you're talking to. And then I'd switch back to telepathy,
Yeah.
Every day it'd come down, sit with me for 5 minutes. It'd sit in the same position on this roof every day for months. And it'd come down, but only when people weren't there, and sit with me and ask me these questions and, do you like family? Do you like going to school? It was just the same thing, but in different ways. It'd ask, like like being interrogated, I suppose. And I'd always come out with the same answers, you know, but as a child, I never felt like I fit into my family. Right. You know, not just from then, but, you know.
Yeah. Did you ever tell your mum about it? Or?
No, not as yet. So anyway, this went on, and it was my mum, you know, that seemed eventually, you know, she said to me, "Oh, yeah, you know, well, you're talking," and I'm like, "No, I'm not," you know. And then it was then that she actually saw the blackbird sat next to me, and it was, and I was talking verbally, and then it was telepathy, and that every time my mum come to the back door, the bird would fly off to its roof. And, you know, so she never actually caught, you know, it'd always go. And that was it, that really, and then one day it had come down and it basically said that, you know, I won't be coming back until you're older. I'm not sure whether it was them words, but I know that is what it was saying, so I can't say the exact wording of it, but, you know, I'm not going to see you till you're a bit older or whatever, and bye-bye, and I was crying my eyes out. But after a while, I got over it, and I thought one day I will see it, you know, but I never told my mum. Never, ever. But, you know, because it wasn't happening to other people that I knew. I never mentioned it, but I knew that it wasn't happening, you know.
And the fact that, and of course it didn't come back, so you obviously weren't, you know.
A few years ago, we were all stood together. I was with Paula and her mum. I don't know what we were talking about, but she said, "Do you remember that little blackbird that you used to talk to?" And Paula was shocked, you know what I mean? And she was like, "Yeah." She said, "You called it Inca." This is what her mum said. "You called it Inca."
I mean, unfortunately, my mum's not here to clarify it because she passed away, so.
Yeah, but I was there. She just came out of the blue. She came out with it.
Well, I mean, it's good enough that Sacha was there and she heard it, so.
Oh, yeah. And she said it was called Inca. And so we went looking. I went looking for, what Inca might mean, you know, relating to blackbirds. And it turns out there is a kind of blackbird that is called Inca. So, I was like, oh, there you go then.
and you know, and I never remembered calling it Inca.
No, your mum did though.
Yeah, my mum did, yeah.
And she saw it. She saw you talking to it, yeah.
Yeah. But every time she saw me through the kitchen window, but every time she come to the door, it'd be off. So.
Well, so where did she get that Inca from then? She must have got that from you, did she?
Yeah, she said that Paula had called it that. She'd asked her one day what she was on. She was talking to a bird, and the bird was called Inca.
Yeah.
That's a strange story, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's move on a bit. How did you actually meet up with Sacha in the first place? You said that Sacha, you met Paula at Paula's place, did you? Or did?
No, she came to my house.
Vice versa.
What that was is I'd had that many things going on, and with abductions, with me personally, it can stop for years, and then I'll have a bout of it, and then it was going through the time where I had this big bout of abductions going on. I ain't saying it's every day. I'm saying it, you know, it over a period of months or, you know, a couple of years. It was just an influx of these scenarios that were happening. And I got to the point where I just couldn't take any more because, you know, I'd be being abducted or whatever is happening to me and seeing greys at the bottom of my bed and being, you know, not examined as in bodily, but, you know, they're doing something with me. And, you know, and I think that this is not f***ing normal. I tried searching on Google.
I'll bleep that out later, don't worry.
Sorry. Anyway, this is not normal at all. So I'm Googling it. I've never been interested in, my grandman used to say that I used to cut I don't even remember. But my grandma used to say that I used to cut paper clippings out of UFO sightings and put them in a little scrapbook. But I don't remember that, you know, so I got to the stage where I'm 2012 and I'm having a really bad time with this, and I start school, you know, being taken by aliens, because I didn't know it were called abduction. I didn't even know the word for it. I didn't know the people on the scene.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. And, you know, and I thought, well, the first thing I come, you know, you look in the directories, you know, and this thing called Smash come up. And I thought, shall I ring it? No, yeah, no. So it went on for a couple of days. And I got to the point where I actually rung the number 3 times, and every time somebody answered, I put it down. And then eventually I thought, right, I've got to do this. I've got to actually speak to someone. And, you know, Paul, them at the other side were probably thinking that they had a stalker or something, or CIA after them or something, I don't know. So anyway, it was this woman called Joanne Summer Scales that had answered. I didn't know her, didn't know nothing about anything. And she was, in a good way, she was putting people in touch with people in that vicinity, you know, in your area sort of thing. So, which mine would have been Leeds, because I'm in Bradford. So it was when Sacha was living in Leeds. Yeah. So, you know, and then I thought, right, so I ring this number, Sacha, this woman, you know, I've never met her before, I don't know her, I don't know. And I eventually rung Sacha up. Yeah. And told her everything, and I went to visit her and let it all out.
Yeah. There's history from there. Now, was it like, do you feel it was like a full body abduction, or was it a mental thing, or?
No. It was, I've definitely, I can feel, you know, touch, smell, see. Yeah. It's like, as I am in this room right now, but in a different, you know, it's nothing like a dream. It's nothing like a dream.
No. I mean, do you feel that your body was actually taken off and carried through walls? Do you mean, you know, like Sacha, what I'm getting at is when you speak to the Kinsellas, their abduction scenario that they had, they basically, there was a UFO over their house, and they feel that they were taken out through the walls, weren't they, through the ceiling, through the roof.
I was taken through a window.
Yeah, so you feel that it was like that, yeah.
Yeah, I know, I was definitely taken through a window. I wasn't looking down at myself, and my body was there.
Yeah.
And the whole body had gone, because Sacha was the only one that were on the bed at the time when this happened. So we'll get into that.
Yeah. No, because I feel there are abductions that are like that, aren't they? They're like a sort of out of body experience type of thing. But that's interesting.
Oh, they are. Actually, I've been pushed because I lashed out at a grey. I got to the point where I thought, no, I can't do this. And I've gone to Kate. I've had 2 small greys at the bottom of my bed on my left, and a tall grey on the right side of me, and I've gone to lash out, but it was ultra slow motion, so I don't know how I physically hurt, unless time was slowed down or it was me. But how could I possibly, you know, kick this grey into a cabinet and it come back as a cat? You know, it's like, what the heck is... And then, because I'd kicked this grey, the taller one had got back of my head and pushed me over, so my head was over the bed.
Right.
So it's hanging over the bed. But when I've kicked this grey, it's like gone up in an arc, and it's curled up into a ball. Not like a ball, but it's curled.
I know what you mean, yeah. Up. Like a protective pose, yeah.
Yeah. It's like a bit like a fetus, you know. And it's curled up, rolled in midair into this cabinet, and so they've got their own back on me, shoved me, you know, the tall greys has got me back of my head, shoved me, right over the edge, you know, the edge of the bed, and, next minute, I see a cat. So this grey has disappeared into the cabinet. It's not like it's crashed through. You know, there's wood everywhere or out like that. It's kind of just disappeared into it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's then when my head's over, sorry, I'm getting it. So when my head's over, I then looking and I see a cat face coming through the wood, and then it's getting further. I'm thinking, oh, I'm like that. With all the strength I've got, I'm trying to call this cat. I'm thinking, that's cute, that's cute. And then I thought, hang on a minute, I don't have a stripy cat. You know?
Yeah.
It was my fucking cat. Yeah. I just totally blacked out.
So
that was it.
It's weird how we try and cling on to some sort of normal saying, like, even in the most bizarre circumstances, like, I'm sort of on a dentist chair and I can't move. I think I've been drugged, but I'm trying to get up. But I'm trying to shout at the same time, so I thought, just concentrate on the shouting.
Yeah.
Because somebody will hear you and then they'll come in and then you'll snap out of this, because you try and rationalise your situation into something normal, and when you're recounting what you've gone through mentally, it just sounds like nonsense, but it's just what your brain does.
So how many of those types of occasions have you had, you think, or do you not know? How many of those types of occasions have you had?
Every type is different. I can't say that, you know, one's exactly the same as other, because they're all different.
That's what I mean. What is it, like 10, 20?
Well, about 40.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 45.
So it's more than you'd really sort of count. You lose count after probably about 20. Yeah, I'll get you. So it's a lot.
It's one a year. Like I said, it comes in, it could be, you know, every other day for 3 weeks, and then I'll lose a 10-year gap where nothing happens. But when I've lost that 10-year gap, there's another thing that comes in, and that's the ghost side of paranormal, because I never together. You know, people get all the other psychic abilities come in, and then as the greys come back again, it could be months apart, years. As the greys come back again, I lose that psychic ability and I don't see any spirits, or, you know what I mean? It's one or the other. Yeah.
That's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, I noticed that in the pattern of my events as well. They never, especially after they've gone, the paranormal stuff goes off the scale.
Yeah.
It's like it supercharges the energy around you and just goes nuts.
Yeah.
When we met and I was living in that house, and I'd had like 6 months of the greys, and you were having stuff happen at the same time as I was. And I was losing my mind. I felt absolutely insane. And you turned up, you were feeling exactly the same. And I'd not, my stuff had been reptilian and the little blue goblin type thing. So the greys were an unknown quantity to me in my conscious recollection anyway. So it was just really, really an insane time for both of us. But we actually came together exactly at the point when we both needed each other, and we sort of figured it out together, didn't we?
Yeah, like, it was meant to happen. And it's a cliche saying, but it was meant to happen.
Yeah. But the activity in the house after they're gone was just insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, I can't remember how long I'd been there. I'd been there over a year, and I'd had lots of paranormal stuff, but I think the house itself was haunted. Normally when I go in somewhere, and if it's got a problem there, my energy, it just feeds it. It just makes it really active. Paula's, you're just like steady away with it, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not immune to it by any means, but
yeah.
My thing is that, you know, I can't stop it, and so I've got to live with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's two lives, it's two lives we live, and
we don't know the other one, do we?
Not the one, and so, you know, you can't stop it, so get on with your life, you know, and I can't sit there and wallow in my sorrows, and because I did that with Sacha in, you know, 2012, so
Yeah.
I've got it in my system, so when I'm never prepared, don't get me wrong, I'm never prepared for it, because
it's always a shocking, it's never, you don't get used to it.
Like, no, you don't get used to it, but I get up then in the morning and I think, shit, excuse me, that
I'll bleep it out.
That I've still got to go to work.
Yeah.
I've got my, you know, child to look after. I've still got my grandchild. I've still got my friends. But you know what? And I also see it as much as they've alarmed, shocked me, you know what I mean? Everything, traumatized me. I've been hurt by more people than I have them.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's how I recovered more, by getting that philosophy, you know, and thinking, it's totally right. You know, I've had boyfriends who beat me up, you know, and cracked on, and, you know, and I'm like, they haven't done that. It's only because I don't know what they're doing and why they're doing that I'm traumatised. They've sent me back alive. They haven't killed me. They haven't, you know, I've come back with odd bruises and weird marks, but, you know, I'm here.
Yeah. So you've got no idea why they may have chosen you at all?
Well, I ain't got a bloody clue.
I mean, so also, the description you gave of greys, something I always think of, did you actually remember what they were wearing? Were they wearing anything, or were they like a grey alien like we see with no clothes on?
Right, so the main, oh my gosh. There's one particular, I'll go through, there's one particular one which I haven't seen in a long time. He's very, very old, and I call him Danny DeVito because at one point he did wear a hat, like, you know, like that film Matilda, and he had that hat on.
No, I haven't seen the film, but carry on.
Well,
I'll look it up after.
And he wears a hat and it glues sticks to his head or something, I don't know. Anyway, so at one time he's worn this hat, and I think that would to make me feel, because I like that film, and it would probably to make me feel a bit more
to give you sense of identified with,
make me feel more comfortable. But I always felt comfortable with this grey anyway. It's a very small one, and he's very wrinkly, and I always say he's the wise one. And it's like as if he's been around thousands of years, you know. I mean, whether he has not, I have no idea, but with them wrinkles, I'd be a bit bloody worried. So, and then there's the tall greys, and I cannot give you a distinct description of them, because they're the ones that subdue me, the tall ones. And make me feel drugged up, put my hand on my forehead and stuff like that when I'm panicking, and I can't give you a description. All I can say is they're grey. They've got the black eyes, the little mouth, no ears, the head, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is you do hear a lot that they do work together, don't they, Sacha? It seems to be these tall greys, and you hear this story over and over again, don't you? From different people.
I saw that one in my room in 2012, it was a tall one, and I didn't realise it at the time, but with other events that unfolded in that 6 months of them being around, I realised that, like Paula said, they're there to subdue people. It immobilised me, basically. But there was once a time when I had an operation and I came out of the anaesthetic and I kicked a nurse in the head. I kicked the anaesthetist in the head and I took a nurse hostage. I was screaming and effing and jeffing for them to keep their filthy hands off me. I don't know what I thought I was fighting or who I thought I was fighting, but I did it twice. When I came out, they had to sedate me, and then when I came out of the sedation, I went off my nut again. So I can only imagine that that's what I'm like when I'm in their presence, and they know that if they're touching my kids, I am going to kill them. If I can get my hands on them, I will break the neck, you know.
Yeah.
They're mine. They're not, you know. Yeah. Oh, you know what?
With them, I don't like that. It's just that, like I said, it's my thing where I think, well, more humans have hurt me than what the grey has, so I'll leave them alone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, I'm not going to be okay about them messing with my kids.
No.
So that, and you know, I've had children for 29 years now, so this is like an ongoing thing. Because I know that with my oldest son, you know, I've tried staying awake, I've tried catching him at it. They traumatised him. Do you know what I mean? So it's like sitting on the steps with a knife, that kind of thing. It's no point because they just make you go to sleep. And it's made me angry. So that's where it comes from. They're not being able to protect the children.
Did you reach out to somebody like Paula did, Sacha, in your day?
Well, I came to the UFO community thinking that it would have its act together, that out of all of the years of all these people doing something about everything, there would be some structure, so somewhere to go that would be easy to reach, and people that would give a monkeys. But to be honest, the UFO community is its worst enemy.
Yeah.
And all you ever get was people, you know, assassinating you, calling you a liar. They've got no reason to call you a liar. I'm just there like going, what the hell is going on? I thought the UFO community would be a community.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not. It's the most fragmented, dangerous place on earth for your mental wellness.
Well, you find out there's no experts, don't you?
Yeah, I ended up talking to a guy, Michael Austin Melton, who was, I think he was part of Move On at first, but I didn't, like Paul, I didn't really know anybody or anything. And he's a PTSD, he was a psychologist and worked with, you know, people with PTSD, veterans. He'd written a few books, and he was so caring, and a few other people that had been through it as well. We all kind of were all together all the time on the net, sort of each other's support kind of thing. And Michael was the person who sort of threw me a line when I was drowning. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, you and Paula have had some joint experiences as well, haven't you? You were telling me.
Yes.
I mean, do you want to go into some of that, Paula, and Sacha? Tell us about some of your joint experiences up to paranormal, not just the Greys as well. Which I think, I mean, there are connections to all that anyway, I think. You know.
Yeah, well, there is a connection, but they're never together. That's it. But, I don't know what Sacha, you
Okay, right. So, I used to go see Jason Andrews, became friends with them. They were on the abduction scene when I sort of came out from under my rock, and Jason was an abductee and he remembered everything, and when he was 12 he kind of exploded, and his parents came to the UFO community looking for some support for him, and then their lives were just turned upside down. But I met Anne and Jason and her family, you know, the whole family, at a conference in 2005, which was my first conference at the Great British UFO Show. And Jason was talking. So I went to see him speak again at Probe in 2006, where I saw two beings literally look like they came out of him. A tall dark blue shadow with a small grey sparkly shadow in front of it. And then the following year I went and stayed at Anne's and stayed in Jason's old room, which it was very notorious and lots of people were trying to sleep in there and never could and all the rest of it. All kinds of strange things going on in there, but he was taken a lot. Anyway, I got taken. I didn't expect it to happen, obviously, you just don't. And when I went and stayed there, me and Alice Taylor were taken by reptilians. Then, sometime later, Paula, something went on and I went down there and I came back and Jason wasn't doing so well. Some awful stuff had happened and, the UFO community being as it is. So anyway, me and Paula went down to see him and Anne, and then when we all were together that night, something really weird started happening and I was getting really freaked out because I just didn't like it. I didn't like what was happening. I didn't like where it was going. There was a very strange vibe going on. Paula was having a hard time with something and I knew what it was and I had to go to the toilet. Then I came back down from the toilet and I walked in the room and everything had changed and it was really, really just not right. And so I kind of walked through the room. You could go in one door at one side and then go out of the other door, and it was like there was a kitchen, there was an office and a kitchen and a little hallway, then the stairs where I'd just come down from upstairs. So I came in through the room via the staircase and I went and I stood in the middle of the room and I just looked round and I don't know why, I just walked out of the room, I walked straight back up the stairs and I got into bed fully clothed, in the dark, shut the door. No way would I go in that room on my own and shut the door and be in the dark after what happened to me before. So then I've left Paula downstairs with Anne and Lynn and James. I don't know who else was there, but anyway, it was all wrong and I didn't like it. So I went upstairs and I got into bed and I don't know if I fell asleep or just shut down. But then Paula, she was downstairs and I'll leave it to her to tell you.
Your turn.
And we are in a way.
I can see you yawning.
I've had such bad luck today, you won't believe it.
I heard some of it, I saw some of it, yeah.
So anyway, so from there, I was sat in, there were two sofas, and I was sat in, I call them leather office chairs. It's like a recliner, but it's leather. It's a tall back and the, shoulder blade things on the side. You know what I mean?
Executive chair, like it, yeah.
And I'm still convinced that chair was green. I don't know why. I've just got it in my head that the chair is green.
I think it is.
Well, I still think about that green. It's that green. Anyway, so I saw Sacha come in, kind of look round, go back out again, but I was, so the two sofas, so one on my left and the other is opposite. And, there's, whatever names are, there's 4 people plus Paul and, what's the name?
Alice, was it?
Anne. No, Alice was. And, so there's, 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 of us sat there, and I don't know, I mean, they did say to me, come and sit on the sofa or whatever, but I chose this specific chair, which I wish I hadn't done, but never mind. So anyway, everything was starting to feel a bit surreal, and, I was, when you go into a trance state, and, this I couldn't control, and, I was, I could see them all talking, and it come on quite quick, did this, so I'm seeing them talking amongst themselves, but it was like being in a fishbowl, and, I'm seeing what's happening, it's all muffled voices though, that, even though, you know, I'm sat in the same room, nothing's changed, but it kind of, like Sacha says, the atmosphere
was weird.
It was
weird.
So it's like I'm with them. I just feel like I'm sat in a bloody fishbowl. You know, and I'm just getting muffled voices. I'm watching them, and it's just bizarre. And then I start getting like a pushing in my lower back, like, you know when you sat on the bus and there's always a kid behind you who kind of
I hate that,
it was that sort of thing, but it wanted, you know, continuous.
Or even worse, on an aeroplane, going for 7 hours,
yeah. Yeah. And our adults with their knees, so it wasn't, you know, a kick, it was a kind of a thud more than a kick type, you know, and it do it again, and a few seconds later, do it again, but there were no time consistency, it was just, you know, so, what is it behind my back? And, you know, I thought it was cushion or something that you wouldn't think of, you know what I mean? It were, you know, I'm not going to stand there and think, oh, there's something trying to come through my chair. But I thought it was cushion, you know, and I thought, oh, my back's playing up or whatever, but it was just getting stronger, to the point where it was pushing me forward, and, like something then, and I thought, something's trying to come through me, through the chair, not me personally, but through the chair. So then I'm a few seconds thinking, is it one of dogs? Because they had these big dogs.
Pyrenean mountain dogs, yeah. It's like walking into a car wash when you walk through their front door. It's just these two hairy barrels.
It's quite a picture. What, licking you as you go through?
Yeah, they're not very licky, they're just very friendly. Enormous and hairy.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, when I say they're huge, they come up to like my waist, so, and anyway, and I just, for a few seconds, just thought it's dogs, and kind of looked round, no dogs there. And, it was then that, you know, I'm kind of lunging forward every few seconds, lunge forward. And the couple, James or whatever it is, says, let it through. After hearing all them muffled voices and no kind of going in, I heard him clearly say, let it through. And I'm like, let what through? But I knew instinctively then that there is something wanting to come through. Yeah, it's like because if he'd have said that, would I have thought that? I don't know. But then I knew, and I went, no, I'm not, no. And he said, let it through, and I went, no, I'm not letting it through. It's then like I felt that I had Isaac back in my head, so you see, I can do that. When I'm with them, I can, like it's like a 360 vision I've got, which, like saying I've got Isaac back in my head. So, I could see me back, but I could see me front, and, but I couldn't see what were happening at back, you know what I mean? They were not there at the moment in time. But anyway, forget that bit. So, eventually I couldn't stop it any longer, and I just kind of let myself relax and kind of flopped in chair, and all it was like something was just, God, like, I can't even explain how it felt, but it's coming through my body, and the first thing I actually saw was a leg, coming through my leg.
Wow. So it wasn't trying to it wasn't trying to enter your body, you know, like being a possession type of thing. It's actually going to using you as a gateway type of thing, was it?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw this solid, muscular. I want to say grey, but it's not grey. Right, so it is grey, right? But when it's in different light, it's iridescent. So whichever way it turns, it kind of has that, like an oily fish. But it's not scaly. It's like a sheen where iridescent, where you turn it, it's going to little bits of different colours. But the main base is grey, but it looked like the texture of plasticine.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So, I don't know if they still make plasticine or not.
Yeah, I think
anyway.
They do.
Yeah. Anyway, so it has the texture of that and the thingy of it. So, yeah, it was like that. And the leg, the next leg come through, and I think by this point, the body must have come through. The entire body's come through me. Because next minute I'm looking at this big bum in front of my face.
That's backside for our US visitors.
Yeah. And the legs, the thighs were unbelievably muscular, but not big, not like a bodybuilder muscular.
Defined, you mean? Yeah.
Very defined, yeah. And it kind of stepped forward. By this point, the entire thing's out of my body, so I'm no longer feeling that weird feeling that when it's coming out.
Weird pressure.
Yeah, it's like a pressure. And I'm not feeling that now because it's totally out. But as I look up its body, I'm like, I start at its feet, you know, but I couldn't see its feet because its feet were actually still partially inside my legs.
Right.
So really all I'm seeing is it's like from bottom at calf. I want to say feet, bottom at calf. And, up. And it had no clothes on, and I didn't see any genitalia because its legs were so close together anyway. So all I could see was this bum. Now when I get to head, this is where I find it really difficult to describe because the ceiling of the room, this being is taller than the ceiling of the room, yet without any problem, it can put its head through that ceiling and not actually physically put it through, but it's like going through liquid.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it doesn't do that. It puts its head down, so it's not actually touching the ceiling, but the very top of it is. So through the ceiling.
Which absolutely freaks me out because I was directly above Paula in that bed when all of this was going on.
Oh, right, so that room was directly above. That's weird.
Yeah, right. I was right over her head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to bed on one side and woke up on the other side.
We'll get back to that though.
Freaks me out though, Paula.
So, this is the first time I've ever heard of someone being used as a gateway for something else to come through from something else.
I've been saying it for years. I've been saying it since 2007. What I saw Jason Andrews talking, and he had like a blue aura around him, but it was spiky. And I thought naively that I was actually seeing his aura, right? Because I didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground back in 2006. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking, oh, I'm seeing his aura. And anyway, after a short while, I realised that it wasn't around him anymore, but it was stood behind him. And then I saw another thing come out of the blue thing, the blue shadow. It was like a little grey, but it was just a shape. And it was kind of had its own light. But it looked like if you got all them snow globes and you shake it up, it was sparkling. And then, and something came out of the side of the big blue thing, like, I don't know, like an arm or whatever, but the end of it dropped off. And even though it was stood about 10 to 12 feet away from me, and I watched it drop straight down, it landed at my feet. Whatever fell off, it landed at my feet, and it was like a spiky teardrop. And I was like looking away from it and looking all over and rubbing my eyes and looking back because I thought, is there something, imprinted in my eyes? Have I looked at something that's left a, like a flash image or whatever? No, it was there. They were there. That was at my feet. And then Vitali, who I'd gone with, he saw it as well. And we weren't sat together. He was sat on the other side. He was sat in front of Jason. I was sat to Jason's left.
What?
When I went to Mike Buckley, who was one of the UFO Dates magazine team, with me, Russ Callahan and Steve Johnson, and he was there selling magazines, and I went to go tell him what I'd seen, and I saw a drawing on the table, and it was exactly what I'd seen, and it was Vitali that had seen it.
Yeah. Is that Vitali Savarov you're talking about?
Yeah, we were tight at one point, but it all got weird after that, because I think they messed with him as well. And so, so when Paula says that it's come through her, it's like, yeah. And something happened to me in 2006 after seeing him speak, where I felt like something had peeled my head like an orange, and that I had a pressure that went through the top of my head and it went through all my body, and then it came out of my feet and I felt fine again.
Right. Oh, this is obviously...
And then Lynn Richardson, it happened to her as well. She sent me an email the next day saying she felt like her head had been peeled like an orange, and she had a pressure go through her.
Oh, so she had the same description. That's weird.
Exactly. We'd both met at that conference. I'd never met her before, but we met there. And we spoke on the forums together before that, but we met when we were at that conference, and she described exactly what I described. I told my fella, and then showed him that email, and he was totally shocked, because it's like her wording was exactly like my wording.
Oh, it doesn't sound extraterrestrial, it sounds like something interdimensional, doesn't it, going on?
Yeah.
For what reasons?
But then the physical as well, because in the 2007, I found myself in their company, in their physical company, and Paula got taken by them. They grabbed her and dragged her out through a window. Well, we haven't got to that bit yet.
We're back to it.
I think we're going to get to that bit now, are we?
Yeah, well, yes. We're near it. Very near it. Do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, go on, carry on.
Right, so, yeah, this thing's now come through me. And, like I said, it's like a grey, but, the background of it is grey, but when it turns, different lights, it's iridescent. Then, it steps forward to Anne, and I knew it wanted her, and I said it wants you, Anne. And Anne then proceeds to I'd seen it put its big hand on her shoulder. I can't tell you what this hand were like. I saw the hand go on the shoulder, but I can't give you a description. And, so, it was then that, she said, basically, get off me, get your dirty hands off me, you're not having him. So this being is actually talking telepathically, because she's answering whatever and saying, no, you're not having Jason, but she's saying it, verbally, and this thing's talking telepathically. Just like me when I was little, so you could switch. So, my, what I call Danny DeVito, the little grey with all the wrinkles, he wasn't wearing a hat at this occasion, and comes, but now, I'm sorry, he comes downstairs. Excuse me, I can see through the wall to the staircase like X-ray vision. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So it's like X-ray vision, so I'm watching him walk down these stairs, through this wall, solid wall, and he comes to me and he's holding, he's only like 3.5 foot tall, and, he's like, I can't say he's a little grey, he's more of a grey brownie, he's got a kind of brownie tinge to him. And, so he's come down the stairs and he's holding a gold balloon, but it's not a balloon. It's kind of swirling, and it's totally gold, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful to look at, and it's got tiny, minute little sparks coming off it. But these sparks don't like drop, no, like a sparkler bonfire firework. It doesn't drop. It kind of, they're that minute that they just go, and it's kind of swirling inside, and I can't say whether that is alive or I really don't know, but it's trying to coerce me into giving me this balloon, and I'm refusing totally. I don't want it. And it was just like, you know, please take it. But it wasn't actually talking to me, you know. I knew it didn't have to talk to me, because I knew what it was trying to do anyway. And I'm saying, no, I'm not having it. I'm not taking it, and I don't want it. No. And off he popped. He kind of went. Now, it's as if, I am not 100% sure on this, but it's like as if the little grey was there to use, you know, as a decoy and to get me attention away from the big, tall being, you know. I'm not sure even whether they knew each other were there, and because I never communicated with each other or looked at each other, but off he popped, back upstairs, and then he comes back down with a black cube, which I've had three thingies with this incidents with this black cube, and it's, you know, it's got it in the palm of his hand, and he's got these three long bony fingers. His palm of his hand looks more of a square shape, and ours is a bit rounded on edge. His is more of a squarey. It's not square, you know, it hasn't got sides, but it's more of a, not square, oblong shape. So, his hand is totally flat. He's got this black cube, and it's emitting kind of some sort of light out of the edges. It's not like it's, you know, zapping, it's bright, it's this, that and other, but I can definitely see a light in this thing. And he's trying to offer me this cube, and I was frightened of it. I said, no, I don't want it. And, I think that the actual, cube was the balloon, but the balloon was disguised as the cube, you know. And I didn't have to open this cube. I could see through it, just like I could see through the staircase and watch him coming down. I could see through then this cube, and it had fine silver threads all intertwined with each other, so that they were going straight across, bit like woven, but it were all jumbled up. And I knew, and in that cube, I wouldn't take it though, I still refused to take it, but I knew it was, just one word, and it was knowledge.
So,
you know.
So you feel they were trying to give you some sort of a knowledge of something?
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So,
I think they were trying to put some sort of energy into it. When I had my thing with the, you know, the feeling of something moving through my head all the way through my body, while that was happening, it looked to me, I had my eyes shut, but I could see golden hands holding my hands, but my hands were just outlined in gold sparkles. Now, I've said this since it happened in 2007. If anyone can be bothered to go looking through any, you know, shows they might find of me talking about this from that point on, you know, that's what I said. It was gold sparkles, and it was the outlines of hands and arms holding onto my hands, and it was just gold sparkly energy.
Yeah. Well, they'll be on YouTube somewhere, won't they?
Yeah, I should imagine so, yeah.
So if anyone does want to search them out, yes. Yeah, it puzzles me as to why someone's trying to... And when you say they don't look at each other or communicate with each other, it makes you wonder if they're in some sort of competition or something for your attention.
Well, I think they work together. I think they all work together. When I saw Reptilian, there was another little thing with it, but it was pretending to be a little girl. I don't think it was shape-shifting. I don't know if it was messing with my mind to make me see this little girl. And then when I went to grab her to pull her away from this big thing that was stood behind her, her face changed, and it was another crocodilian grin with bright gold eyes. So there's lots of different ones, I think, you know.
It is. Yeah.
And they work together. I don't know if they're...
Yeah, I can't quite get my head around what they're actually after. Can you? You got any, you know?
No, I won't even speculate what they're after, but...
I think one part of it is like hormones. I think because they come at different ages with kids, and if you talk to abductees and you say what years were you know, do you remember having activities, they'll go like 5, 12, in mid-20s, 30s, and you know, and it's like with kids, it's like ages of development, like puberty, but when they're around 7 as well. And obviously when they're little, like one of mine told me that they'd snipped his hair, snipped his nose, snipped his toes, hit him on the head with a stick and put a mask on his face and squeezed him. That's a lot coming out of a kid that's not even 4 yet.
Yeah. Or do you feel...
And I don't talk about it in front of him.
No, but do you feel that once you've accepted something from them, that maybe they see you as theirs type of thing, and that they can come back to you at any time they like?
I went anywhere whether you accept something or not.
No. So. Now, you see what I'm getting at?
I've always fought against it. I've never wanted this. I'm angry about it. And Paula's accepted it. I'm like, nah.
About it.
No, I've got rage. Do you know what I mean? Because of them. And they derailed me and my life. Fortunately, I managed to somehow, you know, my kids have forgotten about the things that have happened to them.
Yeah.
And I never bring it up. I don't remind them. You know, and sometimes they'll bring stuff up to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously something happened because the kids can remember it as well. So there's something obviously did happen there. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But you see, up until I like to hide behind me being a crazy person as well. You know, like maybe I'm just mad, and then I hide behind I don't know what it is when I think really I do.
Yeah.
So it's like one of them things for me. But Paula's managed to kind of put it in a place where she's sort of taking it in a stride now. But when we first met, you know, every time she talked about it, she would get upset about it, but she doesn't anymore because she's reached a place inside herself where she feels that she's being heard now, and she's kind of made a little bit of sense of herself.
I mean, you've met plenty of people now that you can speak to about it, especially with Sacha, and obviously coming out on a little show.
Every time we talk about it, same thing over and over, but it never gets boring.
Yeah. But it's good.
We're trying to understand more from it, don't we? We're trying to understand, like, we've got our snapshot memories, but it's like, well, what can we learn from what we can remember? But anyway, we still haven't got to the bit where Paula...
So this story that I'm telling, well, it's not a story, but anyway.
No, we know somebody tells stories, though. Yeah, you're relating a memory. Yeah, go
on. Where did I get to?
Right, so the little thing's got the cube, and it's been coming upstairs, and I'm upstairs. This is like, no.
Fix the cube away then, because
it's going up and downstairs for whatever bleeding reason, and Paula's in the living room with all these people.
And you can see through the wall.
I'm out of it completely.
She's fast asleep or doing whatever or
whatever.
But anyway, it was then, I don't remember much about that. It's like, what happened after that is like, I'm going to bed. We're all going to bed. People are going home, and we're off to bed. You know, when me, and Andrew's, Paul, we're all going to bed, and others are going home. It's all bye-byes, hugs, you know. And so I don't remember what happened then with this thing. It's just, I try to pull it out, I can't get it out. I don't know where it is. So I then go to bed, and I remember going in bedroom where Sacha is, because we had to share this bed, and the light is out, which I can't understand because neither of us can sleep in total darkness for obvious reasons, and I just can't fit. So my eyes have took a while to focus to see exactly what is around in this bedroom, because the only time when I did go in that bedroom was in daylight to put my suitcase in there. So I can't, you think, oh yeah, there's wardrobe there and there's a bed right in front of me or whatever. I can't place, so my eyes had to adjust into this darkness, and the curtains were open. So, you know, then I just thought it's a bit unusual for Sacha to go to bed with no light. I mean, it was pitch black outside. There's no street lights. We're in the middle of nowhere, you know. So, you know, anyway,
well, she'd have known you were coming to the room as well, anyway, wouldn't she? You know, to actually leave you in darkness.
I don't remember any of this.
No.
I do not remember any of what's happening next.
So, next minute, I'm sat on the bed, and Sasha's sat up. We've got the light on, and so I don't remember actually getting into bed. I don't remember turning the light on. I don't remember. So there's another big portion where I just can't pull it out of my brain where it is, what, you know. So next minute, like I said, I'm not sitting on the bed, sorry, I'm lying across the bed. It wasn't a big bedroom. There were enough for a wardrobe, 2 bedside cabinets, and were it a double bed or single bed?
It was a double bed, yeah.
And, so, I can't, if I turn round I can say, but, she is on the right side of me, and I am on she's sat up, and I am laying on my stomach with my hands like that, and my feet are about a foot away from the windowsill, because it's a pretty low windowsill, but I kind of hanging them up in air and waving them, and I'm talking away to her. Now, under any normal circumstances, I think, why are you answering me? Why aren't you talking to me back? It was like I were having a one-way conversation, but I wasn't thinking anything were wrong, you know. It was just so weird. And so this one-way conversation, I'm quite happy with no answers. I'm quite happy talking away to her while she's sat there just staring into space, you know. It just so it's just surreal, you know what I mean? And then next minute, Sacha then looked to where the window is, so where my feet would be, and her face were horrified. And so it's eyes wide open, and she looked. And I'm like that, and I looked at her, and I thought, look, I said, it's there, isn't it? And she kind of looked at me, as if to say, yeah, but this was in a matter of seconds. It wasn't like anything were delayed. But what I did was, I'm like that, and I slowly put my hand down, and I turned like this, and to my right, and I looked, and I saw my grey, the one that's been offering cube with all the wrinkles, the one that I called Danny DeVito. And it was him that I saw, and his energy was just, it was as if he didn't have to speak, because his energy said it all. So it's like I'm feeling what he's feeling. Empathy, sympathy, and a feeling of I can't do anything. He couldn't physically do anything to stop this. And whether I'm wrong, whether I'm right, whether it's deception, I don't know, but that's what I got off him. And the next minute, it was like something, I know it wasn't him because I'm still looking at him and his hands are down by his side. And my feet were a few inches away from him anyway. And something grabbed round my feet and next, it round the, you know, where, not round my ankles, it was like round my feet. And then, it was just like, I can imagine being pulled up by a vacuum cleaner. But yeah, I had a night dress on. Now, if you can imagine this, if you're going to get pulled by some sort of force like that, and I'm going backwards, my dressing gown, it weird, but my night dress shirt, whatever. If I'm going backwards, but it wasn't a vacuum kit. In it. I can't explain it. It was like being pulled by a vacuum cleaner, but it wasn't that suction. There was no suction there.
Just went backwards really quickly.
Pulled backwards. There was no suction. So if I'm being pulled back...
You thought you should be over the top of your head with force.
It should have been over the top of my head. You know, and it wasn't. Everything was just in place. But yet I was going so fast. And from my feet being to the window, which was to the windowsill, it's probably a good foot. To the window, to the frame is probably about 3 inches. And the speed of what I'm being pulled at, it is like a 45-degree angle that I'm being pulled off that bed. So the last to go is my elbow, right? And while this is happening, Sacha's head is dropped. She hasn't got her eyes closed or anything. It's like as if it's just dropped down. And I'm kind of looking at her for help, but because it's so quick, I can't speak. And, so I'm going, it's 45-degree angle, I'm going really fast. And the next minute it gets to me head. I knew I was going through the glass. And the next thing it gets to me head. So where my peripheral view is, I can see a grey membrane, which would have been glass. So it's a grey thin membrane, which goes beyond the walls. So where glass finishes or a wall finishes, it goes beyond that. It's like going in another dimension now we're talking, you know what I mean?
Well, you're describing what I was just thinking, really. I mean, that's what it seems to be, doesn't it? Something in the dimensional thing that's going on.
Yeah. Where the wall should have finished, it just continued in this grey because I could see it go past the walls. Yeah. And even though it was a wall,
you have to remember, nothing is solid, is it? We're not solid. The walls are not solid. So there's no reason why, in certain circumstances, we couldn't vibrate through anything, really.
And then it was like a loud pop, like a pop crack. Yeah, I'll tell you what it sounded like through my head, going through this final stages of going through this membrane was like, you know when you get them packaging and the air bubbles?
Yeah.
Protective packaging, it was like cracking one of them really loud. It was like that. And so it had got up to my eyes, gone over my eyes, gone totally over, and that's when it went pop. So I'd finally gone through it. Because at that moment, when I'm going through this membrane glass, everything has slowed right down. And then as soon as my body's gone through it, that pop, it's sped back up again. And it's like I'm going that fast and that quick, and the distance, it just did not make sense. So that's when I realised that time and distance and speed just don't exist. I should have been at the other side of bloody England. And, I was in the middle, hovering 45 degrees over a field. But while I'm going backwards, I'm watching Sacha through the window. So I'm at the other side of the window now. And I'm watching her, and she's still got her head down. She's totally out of it. And then I can see the house, and I can see the cars to the left, and Jason's caravan, and the fields beyond that, and I can see horses, and the road, it's like a little country road in front of us, and then I'm looking down at the field in front of me, and then I just totally black out. That's it. I just totally black out. And then next moment, I'm waking up, and I'm now on the other side of the bed where Sacha originally started. So she was on the right, whereas I was on the left, and when I woke up, she was on the left, I was on the right. And I woke up on my back. I never ever sleep on my back because the pain is excruciating. I can lie there for a good 10 minutes, and then that's it. The pain just kicks in. I've never could sleep on my back, so it's always my side. And when I woke up, I had my arms crossed over. I don't know whether it's a typical thing, but you see it, people in coffins, and they've got their arms crossed. Yeah, but my feet were crossed over as well. And, because I kind of woke up, looked at my arms, thought,
Yeah, you wouldn't normally lie like that, would you?
No way.
I mean, I don't think anyone would they? You wouldn't cross your ankles and cross your arms.
No. So as I'm looking down at myself, my ankles are crossed, and I'm like, at this point, I couldn't tell you whether it were daylight or night, but I did get up to go to the toilet.
It was morning when you woke me up.
Right.
You jumped on me. You came back from the toilet, and you dived on me from the bedroom door, I think. Yeah. And you were on my arms, and you were shaking me. Sacha! I woke up when you were like an inch away from my nose.
Yeah.
Shouting in my face.
While I was
completely freaking out.
Yeah.
And I was going, oh my God, I knew it was a bad idea to bring you here. I shouldn't have brought you here. No sympathy at all. Just like, just what the hell?
I can laugh about it now, but for years that traumatised me. But it was while I was sat on the toilet that this actually come back to me. It was like a bullet to head, and it was like, what? I shot out of that toilet. I don't even remember flushing it. I don't remember out. Next minute, I'm on top of Sacha. That sounds a bit bad. But I'm on top of her, inches from her face, and I'm screaming at her, Sacha, get out! Something's happened, basically, and all this. And she just said, oh, I knew it was a bad idea. Turn over and go to sleep. And I was sobbing my eyes out. Why she'd gone, I don't even know, she'd gone to sleep with me crying and carrying on anyway, but...
I don't remember doing that.
Eventually, I'm not even sure whether I went off that sleep, I don't even know. And,
I can't remember.
It was said when she woke up again, and she was saying, oh, a bad idea, and I'm it's coming down my eyes again, and I'm explaining what had happened from the, thing that walked through me, right? So, being taken out at window, and being at one side, mine being at other, and...
So I'm listening to all this stuff that I've done that I have no recollection of anything, like, and no idea why I even walked through that room and went straight back upstairs to bed, or what that grey was doing when it was coming upstairs, or, it's just, when people are telling you that kind of thing, it's like, it's awful. It's like, jolly hockey sticks. We've had an experience together, whoop-de-doo, aren't we, special? You know, it's like just a continuation of a horror show that I've lived with all my life, you know, so it's like, and I can't even remember it. I'm not even allowed to remember it. I'm not even allowed to know what my actual life is or has been. And like, it hasn't, you know, there's been little episodes, but nothing mega like the stuff that I've been through. And I'll tell you what as well, it got worse after I came to the UFO community, just throwing that out there for people who won't come forward yet. You know? When you go start making friends with people and staying in their houses, you know.
Yeah, it's all certainly very puzzling, that, wasn't it? And also, the thing is, it sounds all believable because you're not actually saying that something started, it ended, and we think it was this. You're just as puzzled as I am, you know.
It's understandable that people won't believe us. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff. It's like, and you know what? Actually, I don't want people to properly believe me. I don't want to be the person that derails somebody for putting in their head that this is what goes on. You know. And
do they care who believes me? I don't give a...
No. It doesn't make any difference at all to our lives.
It don't, you know, I don't care. I'm nearly 50 years old. I don't give a crap what people think. I'm telling it as it went with me. My story never changes. And, you know, and I'll tell it till the day I die, and hopefully one day, you know, that day when I do die, I will know what it is, but unfortunately I won't be able to send that message back to you.
Well, the thing is, you have got instances where you can be backed up with, such as Sacha, who's seen some of your experiences. Your mum actually experienced some of it, which Sacha backed up. So,
yeah, my grandma
there's all those little bits of the jigsaw that you can put together to say, well, you know, Paul is telling the truth. I believe you because I as I say just now, it sounds believable, although you can't make any sense of it. It just sounds, you know.
And there's none of them like that. Don't get me wrong. I might be laughing now because I've recovered from that trauma. But, you know, there's none of them like that. There's no...
Dealing with your trauma, isn't it? Like humour, you have to, it's do or die. What are you going to do? Like, so you end up you're praying all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like gallows humour.
Yeah.
It's like funeral texts, isn't it? You know, they'll have a laugh and then people, oh, look at them laughing. They have no, it's their way of dealing with it. You know, the same feelings as us, but, you know, it's the way of dealing with it, a coping mechanism.
Yeah. You're still no closer to knowing what's going on though, are we? After all.
No.
I mean, I've not really had that many, I've not had any experiences like that at all. I don't know if I want to really, but then I suppose deep down inside you do want to have something like that. I mean, I've seen a UFO and I've seen, moving stars, which must have been UFOs years ago. I had a purple mist experience when I was a baby, but those things do stick with you. But what they actually were, I don't know. They just still leave you puzzled, you know.
Yeah.
As I say, like you say, at the end of your life, maybe you do find out what's going on. I don't know. Or maybe your spiritual self does know what's going on, but you don't because you're in your physical body.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I suppose we draw a line out. It's been fascinating having you on, Paula, and you too, Sacha. It's been very interesting, I must say.
Only one of many.
I'm sure that people listening out there will be just as puzzled as I am by it all, because they're just crazy stories that... Yeah, go on.
Me and Paula, we recently did these videos, abductee video diaries on my YouTube channel. Sacha Christie, just abductee video diary it is. And it's Paula talking about all of her experiences from start to today. And we started with mine, but then I had a bit of a wobble over it because it was a bit exhausting talking about all of it. We did like 10 shows. Then we decided to have a little break so I could get my head back on. And then the coronavirus thing happened and, you know, everything just went weird. And so, but we're going to get back to it like in a week or so.
Yeah.
And carry on telling my, what's happened to me in that way, in a chronological order. We're not spamming it everywhere, but we just kind of feel that our words have got to reach the right people, and they usually do. So we're not sort of like making a massive deal about it, but for people who it happens to, I know that I'm always interested in what happens to other people, and
I know you are.
It's not usually the way that you can find out about somebody from start to finish. So I thought it might be a good sort of project for other people that have already been out in the public, because I don't want to be like throwing people out there who've not spoken before and putting them in the firing line of all the nonsense.
Yeah,
but we get to
we don't trust them. We know they get up to all sorts of funny business.
We get to hear bits and bobs from abductees, because you might hear them on one show and they might only be able to talk about a little bit of something, and then on another show with another host talking about a bit of something else. It's all disjointed. So, to get a sort of chronology from start to finish, or to now, I thought might be interesting to do. So that's what we've been doing.
I'm just watching Paula on the camera. I think she's been abducted.
I was sitting there. I don't like people seeing in yourself.
Yeah, getting dark now.
No, anyway, it's been great having you on. I'll tell you what, Sacha, if you can send me the links, I'll put those on the Paranormal Dimensions page, and people can have a look at some of your videos and things, and perhaps follow on from all this as well.
Yeah. All my production stuff is on there, so it's Sacha getting into starting. Well, we did do one, but we're getting to more starting next week. So
yeah,
that'll be good.
All my stuff. So if you want to listen to it, you're quite welcome.
Yeah. Now, so I'll definitely put the links on the page anyway. So anyone listening out there want to follow up on this, should find it pretty interesting. I mean, I'm just as puzzled as anybody at the moment, really.
Well, yeah, and if it, makes sense to anyone else, and they've got something they want to say about what one of us has said, then we want to hear what it is.
Well, so
obviously
people might have the similar experiences to what you've had.
Well, yeah, we're trying to put a picture together, see if we can understand anything from our bits of memory, and not build something out of it that's not there, but we keep it as it was. The assumptions of what it might be or whatever, we don't even do that. It's like, well, we speculate, but we don't claim to have any answers whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And we know that it sounds like poo. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it does, but that's kind of, for me, what makes it more believable, because it does sound so crazy. It's not the sort of thing you can really conjure up and think up, because they're just like sort of really weird dreams, aren't they? You can, but that's been fascinating. But as I say, the links will go on the page anyway, and I'll be interested to follow up on it and listen to some more about it. But anyway, thank you, ladies, for coming on. And
thank you, David.
It's been nice speaking to you, Paula, at last, and sure we'll be speaking again about it at some point. And Sacha, thanks for coming on and helping out.
Thanks for asking.
That's all right, and I'm sure we'll be doing it again as well.
Yeah, never.
On the next one.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone out there, thank you for listening. I'm sure Paula would like to say goodnight to you.
Good night, people.
And Sacha?
A good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Right, you've been listening to Paranormal Dimensions. I'm David Young on the Paranormal UK Radio Network. Thanks for listening, and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Tune in again next week.
Paranormal Dimensions is as bright and powerful as our celestial star, the sun. And although it's expending thousands of pounds of energy every minute of the day, have no fear. There's plenty left.
Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.